It would be a very good way to bring WBAI. We will consider the
Please allow the speaker to shortly. You have another 30 seconds.
Oh, good.
And then the Texas water parties, anybody else involved would get the same treatment. That would be great too.
Go around in front of
the going with that way also. He could have a conflict of any down. So that would be good. Anyway, I'm sorry for the dyslexia tonight.
BAI do to Steve Brown. Those people would be the last people that Steve Brown would want to keep from closing. On another subject, it seems for months and months and months, the evening rebroadcast of Free Speech News has been replaced by the Spanish news, and it's been preceded by an announcement by the program director that this is an experiment. So day after day, this is an experiment, week after week, month after month. How is the experiment going? Is it ever going to be accepted or rejected without continuing to be an experiment?
Okay, that's over there. Somebody else wants it.
It's too late.
I got the latest Nation, and there's an ad in it that I understand Steve Brown put in, and it's got WBAI, and it's got the 120 Wall Street 10th floor address. So I made a point, and I don't know if you were here, that my second ballot was returned to me 3 months later.
So is mine.
From the post office, thank you. From the post office, because it was, I had certified it just to make it a little more official, but I had it in for enough time that it should have been able to be picked up and counted. Also, I asked on the first ballot that we ever had to see the ballots, and no one has ever approached me to say, Monroe, if you'll come to the station on such and such a time, we'll show you the ballots. I would have been able to see if my first ballot was in, and I would have been able to sort of see the other ballots. I'm not clear on the proportional representation, because if
No power.
16,000 people
You see the little
receive
battery
ballots,
symbol on the right?
I thought it was a number of
Battery.
members.
When that goes out, tell me if it goes out.
Let's say 10,000.
That's when the power is on.
Then half of that would be 5,000. And then one more vote would be a majority. So you'd have to have 5,001 votes. But when I looked at the computer screens, it seemed that there was some other figure that people won their elections on for like 300 votes or 125 votes. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I think that a lot of people sort of shrug their shoulders and say, well, it must be fair, whatever it is. So, because it's WBAI. However, I'm not satisfied with WBAI, even though I love it. There are many fine programs on it. And we seem to all think that it's worthy of coming here and getting things done. But I don't like the way Plato Benjamin was treated, even though I was critical of him. I have a right to be critical of him, but I also have a right to have the program director or management say just what his state is and how we can reach him. I enjoy his program. I don't know what's wrong with the way things. 4,000 former subscribers came to the I don't know what's going on.
No, it's okay now. The battery disappeared. That means that it has power. The battery disappeared.
Make a comment.
No, you can still
I
do
find it very deplorable that civilized people, when a person doesn't come to his program, I know Ron Daniels is doing that time spot now, but just don't like the way things are handled. And I don't like it that, listen, the comments aren't immortalized on some granite slabs. And I'm interested to know what the story is on the election, the coming election, how it's going to be handled on the air. So does somebody want else to comment, please?
If not, I'd like to. Okay, this is for this evening. Ray Mishkon's handout at the September 18th LSD meeting at the House of Justice venue. It seems a bit convoluted, suggesting laying off two management officials, namely Bernard White, Program Director, and the new interim General Manager. That those two middle-income salary savings will certainly not pull WBAI out of its normal financial space. Also setting up guidelines for upper management hierarchy by appointing the heads of 3 departments, news, arts, public affairs, as group-style management. I think if the program director and the interim general manager are put on furlough for the suggested 6 months, a change at full, I repeat, at full salary, giving them both a breather to try another management strategy that may be interesting, including the new group for general administration. I think the LSP should keep an eye open to keep these new group members from killing each other, on their way, possibly scratching to the top. Anyway, Mitch, I hope that this is discussed and done. Anyone else?
You can open up the viewfinder now. If it's, if the data's getting found, you can use it.
Okay, if there's no further list of comments, we'll proceed to the next item on the agenda, which is the budget.
Put it in the right frame. All I have to do is
And Baruchi, did you have something to give us?
put it open. Oh, you don't like the sound? No. Well, let me get the... No, I'm sorry.
This guy here in the back is the worst enemy. He's a dog, it's a real it's all poison, okay?
Did you come to the meetings before it was, when they had the local station?
Yes, sir.
Before they had the
Please hold the discussion to the question.
he was in, I know he was in that.
Please come to order. Please come to order.
Do you have read glasses? Share?
Okay.
One is the cash flow and one is the, what is the cash?
Does anybody else need the cash flow?
What is the cash flow? One is the budget.
All right.
One, the cash flow is in landscape.
The cash flow is the one in smaller type, in landscape. And the budget is in larger type.
Portrait in a larger type. Sorry. Just by way of background, in the middle of approving the budget, this was 2 meetings ago.
Yes.
We had approved amendments to the budget, but we didn't get to the complete motion to pass. Since that time, there was a request put out by the National Finance Committee to look at the cash flow of the station to determine whether or not, even if the budget included a surplus of $125,000, that there would be sufficient cash available to meet the commitments as they became due in the following year. So in addition to providing with the budget, which there is one change in, but it doesn't affect the $125,000 of operating surplus that we're required to generate. It has to do with increase in restricted funds, which we wouldn't be considered as part of the surplus for meeting the station's operating surplus. But except for that one adjustment, this is the same budget that we reviewed at the last meeting, which I was in attendance. As I indicated, also the National Finance Committee asked that a cash flow be presented to accompany the budget in order that they can determine that the station can meet its commitments as they become due. We don't really have to do anything with the cash flow. It's really being presented for information purposes for you to look at. I'll try to, we don't have, as obvious, like as was stated, we don't have the IGM or the business manager in attendance this evening, and they're the ones that are responsible for preparation of the budget. But any questions, anything that comes up that I have some insight on, I will attempt to answer.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I have a motion to make with regard to the budget. Would that be
Oh, good. But I mean,
or will we some kind of question and answer?
When we last ended that 2 meetings ago, we had the motion on the floor to approve the budget, and we had voted in favor of one amendment and against another one. So that motion is still on the floor and subject to further amendment.
Point of order, Madam Chair. Point of order, Madam Chair.
Yes.
That motion, that meeting was adjourned
Yes?
before any votes, before the main motion was voted on. The motion falls to the floor. That killed it.
That killed it?
That kills it. Perhaps the member to your left will remember a meeting 3.5 years ago where he did in fact make a motion to adjourn, which killed a motion on the floor. As we've seen with other motions, anytime that happens, the motion to adjourn kills the motion on the floor. So this is a new meeting. So you gotta make the motion.
Okay. So I think it would be wise if supposedly something has changed in the budget. I think it would be wise if we heard what has changed before we entertained the motion.
What has changed is that there has been an addition to the restricted grants line. Or that's line on the page 1 of 3, line 13, column O. There's been an increase. I don't have the last draft in front of me, but that number was increased from the last draft.
I can tell you what the increase is.
Go ahead.
It's 24,000 plus 18,000. 34,000, 42,000, 40,000.
All right.
Okay.
But as I indicated, those funds, the requirement was that the station put forth a budget that had a surplus equal to, operating surplus equal to $125,000. If you notice on page 3, we have a surplus of $292,808. That's because included in that surplus are funds that are expected to be raised for a transmitter and other equipment. Those funds cannot be counted towards the $125,000 of surplus. When you subtract those monies out, we're just at $125,000 of operating surplus.
Yes.
Okay, I would like to...
Hi. I would like to move that the budget be revised such that the listener's support line is based on the pledged totals from fiscal year 2007, which would be 2.851 million, rather than a total of 2.997 million, and based on a fulfillment rate of 80% rather than the number 83.1%, which is used in this current proposed budget. Thanks. That's my motion.
You have that electronic form?
I don't.
Could you just repeat it?
Yeah, move that the budget be revised such that the listener support line is based on a...
So that?
So that, sure. So that the listener support line is based on an annual pledge total of $2.851 million, rather than
Wait, an annual what level?
annual pledge total of $2.851 million, which is
851 million? 851 million. 851. Okay.
rather than $2.997 million. 97. And based on
Which line is
a,
that? Which line is that?
36 and 37.
well, listener support is the very first line, it's line 6.
But you know, just by way of background. Actually, I'm in the middle of my work now.
You won't see those numbers in the budget. What happens is that the budget reflects the actual amount expected to be collected once the pledges are fulfilled. In other words, we don't receive 100% of the pledge. So the budget is based on the actual cash to be received. So the budget reflects the fact that for every dollar pledge, we may only collect whatever, 80 cents, 83 cents. So at least the expectation here is to collect approximately 83 cents of every dollar pledge. So the numbers that he's quoting, you don't see here. You just see the results of collecting a portion of what is actually pledged to the station.
Thanks. And anyway, to finish the motion, and based on a fulfillment rate of 80%, not 83.1%.
80.3%.
No, 80%, not 83.1. Not 83.1.
Point of information, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's made the actual motion to pass the budget yet, so.
No,
So somebody
I
do
think
that,
Bob
and we can have-
has something there. Yes, Bob.
Basically, he's proposing an amendment to something we're trying to motion for.
Well, yes, exactly my point, so somebody should make a motion.
I think it's about to happen.
Okay, I'll pass out copies of this. The first part of this was just the basic motion made last time but not voted on, and then the second, points 1 and 2 were the amendment that was adopted, which now we have to re-vote on. Okay, the LFB approved the WBAI fiscal year 2008 budget submitted by management with the following stipulations. Number 1, recommends that working with the treasurer, the IGM revisit the salary, benefits, and pension lines to ensure that the numbers which are presented accurately reflect the contractual amounts, including vacation and other leave time, and that any proposed cuts be in compliance with the ASTRA paid staff union contract and in consultation with ASTRA and USOC, the unpaid staff organizing committee, as all staff are affected by internal changes. Number 2, the board will revisit the budget process in 6 months and again in 9 months with, in addition to its required monitoring, the specific purpose of reviewing income and expenses to determine whether there is any excess income. Such excess shall be returned to the staff as follows. First, restoration of 50% of any rollback or lost positions. Second, a 100% increase in the hours of a development professional. There are 10 hours in the current budget draft. Third, restoration of the balance of any rollback or lost positions. Fourth, for payback of the money owed due to any rollback. Fifth, payback of deferred cost of living adjustment. And last, an increase to full-time for the development professional.
Okay, so that's been moved and seconded.
Point of order, Madam.
Yes.
No, so this is going to just say, this just says this then. So the little thing at the front does put the budget in there, right? In other words, okay, so this will satisfy us with having something on the floor that says we're passing a budget.
Exactly.
Okay, and now his
amendment, right. Okay, this actually, those were amendments that we passed, but now they're part of the motion. Now they're being brought as part of the complete motion.
They didn't actually pass.
Well, yes.
Sure. So nothing actually passed.
Well, if we want to be technical, but we'll just pass right on by that. Yes, Mitch?
Point of order.
Yes?
I would like either Peruti or whoever else can make a motion to just move that we pass the budget that was submitted. And, to me?
I'm
So
sorry.
then somebody else can, because what Bob submitted is not a motion. He submitted a bunch of amendments under the guise of saying that we want us to pass the budget, and he snuck in these extra amendments.
I'm sorry, that is entirely out of order.
So the
Bob submitted
Bob's motion was out of order.
No. Bob's motion is not out of order, your point is not well taken.
Why, it's out of order because you asked for a motion to pass the budget and said.
So we had to have a motion in order to entertain amendments.
So there needs to be a motion made.
With a motion.
Point of order, there needs to be a motion made first to
No,
pass the budget and then
absolutely not.
amendments can be made to it.
Absolutely not. He can present it in this form if he so desires. Okay, this is it. This is the motion. Now we have an amendment. We have Jamie's amendment.
Do I need to restate that, or?
No, you can just
Can I
motivate
speak?
it.
Okay, I'd like to speak to my amendment. One of the problems with the current budget that is before us, in my opinion, is that the listener support line is too high. It's unrealistically high. It's not based on numbers that we have achieved in the past. I think that the soundest thing to do is to base our total income from fund drives on what we are reasonably expected to accomplish in fiscal year 2007, which is the current fiscal year, in which all the pledge drives, the 4 major pledge drives plus 2 days, all those pledges total up to $2.851 million. That's why I think that number should be the basis of the calculation of the listener support line in fiscal 2008. There's no reason to believe that we're going to make more. Also, by the same logic, I move that we should base the listener support income on a fulfillment rate of 80%. That is actually higher, by my calculation, that's higher than we've ever done for the past 7 or 8 years. The CFO recently estimated that the fulfillment rate for WBAI in fiscal year 2000 would be 78%. If we want to be truthful, we would base our fulfillment rate. That was fiscal year 2007 on the National Finance Committee call. That's what he said. So that's why I believe that a fulfillment rate estimate of 83%, which is in the current budget, and a total pledge total of $2.997 million, which is in the current budget, are unrealistically high, and we should not make a budget based on those numbers. Thanks.
Bob.
I have a question for make a motion. I'm not really following the numbers that you're proposing. Can you translate these into the equivalent of this budget we're looking at? What would your number be for line 5,000?
Well, that's.
I'm working from a, no, not 36, line 6.
Line 6, it's also numbered as 5,000, okay. What would your number be?
Well, let's work that out. I was told that the listener support line was based on $90,000 from mail drops, $10,000 to be received from a mailing with the ballots, and $2.492 million from pledges from Fund Drive. So we'll keep that 90 from the mail drop, even though I believe that's also too high. We'll keep that 10 from the election mailing, and then we'll take the new number, 2.851 million, and multiply it by the correct fulfillment rate, which should be 80%. Whoops, I'm not getting an error.
259, that's 3424.
Where's my number? Okay, 2.851 times 0.8 equals 2.2808 million. All right, so where are we here?
$2,280,000 and what?
Let's see here. So we're going to add to that. I'm going to multiply that times 1.
Yes.
Would it be in order for me to bring an amendment while the member figures out whether it's
Yes, we can have one more amendment.
Madam Chair, I think
You asked the questions, if you would, mathematical answer.
Right, well, while he's working it out, we're
I have your number.
Maybe I have to start over.
That's your decision.
I think, yes, I think we can keep we can keep moving here.
Well, then I had to, no, sure, no, my hand was up long, I was right.
I'm sorry.
Actually, ma'am.
I'm chairing the meeting. I recognize Shereen. Okay. Yes, Shereen. There's a point of order. What is the point of order?
Yes, some of us, including myself, had our hands up at the same time, or even before Bob had his hand up to make his motion. You ignored our hands, you can set an invisible hand, you called on Bob, then you called on Serene and others from your faction that you're part of, instead of making a list and doing this in a fair way and conducting the meeting. So if you want to conduct the meeting in a fair way, make a list, have a list, they're going to do it in the order that people have motions to make, not in terms of people who want to, who end up dominating the meeting that way.
Yes, Serene.
My hand actually was earlier, in fact.
What?
My hand was earlier.
It was up earlier. All right, right. Nobody, because we were, all right, he has the answer. Let's take his answer first.
That would bring down, by my math, which should probably be checked, but it would bring down the listener support line from 2.592 million to 2.380 million.
2.380 million?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yes, point of information?
Is that a different figure from what he gave before?
The figure he gave at first was, I think, 2.280 something. He's adding to it $100,000 in the mail drop.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And what? I'm sorry, you have to really speak up.
I'm sorry, my voice is not good.
James, you know.
280 was arrived at last night.
That was 80% of the total pledge of 2.851.
Here comes another slide.
Okay. All right.
There's another
That was
slide.
my best estimate of the pledge total for fiscal year 2007, which is 816,000 for fall, 871,000 for winter, 638,000 for spring, 474,000 for summer, and then 2 one-day drives for about 25,000.
So you're reducing both the pledge total and the vote.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm reducing the pledge total to the best estimate of what we got, which is 2,007. And I'm reducing the fulfillment rate to 8%, which is actually an optimistic estimate of our fulfillment rate. As far as I understand, I believe we've ever reached it.
Yes. Ask me. I'll ask him. Do you know the fulfillment rate reading? No. Okay.
Based on the mensis reports that were given to me by station management, I believe The fulfillment rate for fiscal year 2007, we don't know yet because the fulfillment's not finished. It takes a year or 10 months for fulfillment to finish. Lonnie estimated it would be 78%. The fulfillment for fiscal year 2006 was 79.6%. For fiscal year 05 and 04, they were about 78%, and fiscal year 03, I believe, was about 75%. And fiscal year 01, which was the coup year, fulfillment was about 69%.
Mitch?
Yes, I'd like to make an amendment. First, I'd like to welcome the members of the Missile Big Chicks here to the WBAI board meeting. The amendment I'm making to amend the board that's on there is the motion to deal with emergency financial situations at
Do you
BAI.
have copies you can distribute?
I gave them out last week. And it says, and I'll give one to the secretary. Whereas the financial situation at BAI is dire and requires extraordinary measures, and whereas we wish to rectify matters, but not at the expense of the paid staff, nor in violation of union contracts, and whereas in contrast to for-profit corporations, we believe that a non-hierarchical, collective approach to management is both suitable and desirable for not-for-profit listener-sponsored BAI. Therefore, be it resolved that as of October 15th and for 6 months thereafter until April 15th, 2008, WBAI, actually, for those 6 months, the local station board will take out of the proposed budget the funding for its 2 top management officials, the interim general manager and the program director.
How much is that?
And recoup about $150,000 plus their other cuts. It comes out to about $250,000. Will lay the interim general manager and the program director and recoup their salaries and benefits packages back into the general WBAI budget. Further, be it resolved that in the interim 6-month period, all programming decisions will be made by a majority vote of the heads of the following 3 departments. The news department, which is Jose Santiago, the arts department, which is Janet Coleman, and public affairs, which is Kathy Davis. And further be it resolved that in the interim 6-month period, all administrative, non-programming managerial decisions will be made by a majority vote of the heads of the following departments. The news department, arts, public affairs, operations, which is Peter Beauchamp, premiums, Paul Ashby, membership, Evelyn Adino, business, Indra Hardat, and fiscal, Yvonne Singh. And further be it resolved that the above grouping can, by a 2/3 vote, structure itself in any way it sees fit to expedite getting the work done. Finally, be it resolved that at the end of the 6-month period, Pacifica will reassess the pluses and minuses of this process, and in conjunction with the BAI local station board, decide whether to continue it or to reconfigure management in some other way, which may include returning to the previous managerial setup. That's my motion. I hope somebody says
You want to motivate your motion? We're going to run on these in the reverse order in which they were presented. You want to motivate this amendment?
Yeah, I motivated. The station is in severe financial crisis. There is no money to even pay next month's rent. If we heard Kathy Davis's report and others last week. We're in a and we don't have money to pay for the staff. The interim general manager is going to be leaving shortly regardless. So I am proposing, as you heard, that we run it sort of the way they did at KPFA for a while, that a collective of people, volunteers from the heads of the different departments run the station, both the programming and the other management. at the station for the timing, and they could appoint somebody to be the titular head if they need to for FCC reasons. And also that if people want to provide a slight percentage extra to supplement their salaries by 15% or so, that will still save several $100,000 for the station, and that would be a friendly amendment if somebody would like to make it. It's absolutely crucial that we break out of the logjam that we're in. The Justice and Unity people have proposed cutting the salaries of staff by 5%. Even though it's hidden in the language that Bob Lederer presented, but that's what it amounts to. It's cutting the staff salaries, and I'm presenting the idea that no, we don't cut staff salaries. We are not socialists against the working class. We're socialists for the working class.
Okay, we're approaching time here.
All right, well, we're approaching it, and that we support the workers at BAI. We're opposed to cutting their salaries, and that we deal with management on this. We do it in a different way than normally is dealt with in corporations, and don't fall into the same trap that corporations always do in this capitalist country. That we deal with it in a different way, a pro-worker approach, a collectivized approach, a voluntary approach to running the station for the next 6 months, at least until we get our feet back on the ground and raise the money that we need. And this money will satisfy, along with one or two other items will go a long way towards satisfying the current debt at the station and the crisis that it's facing.
Okay.
Here, here.
Lisa?
I just wanted to, just a couple of things need to be corrected. People here did not, or he said Justice and Unity, we did not support the 5% staff cut. We had to pass the budget and propose one that there would be no staff cuts at all, at least for 3 months. That was rejected. Well, if people would tell the whole truth, I'm talking. That was rejected, and so then we were forced, it was presented back to us, that management proposed, but our initial budget, which did not call for staff cuts, was rejected. That is something called the truth that people do not like to see.
Why don't you read your own motion?
Please come to order. Please come to order. Please, Mitch, please do not speak out of turn. Do not speak unless you have been called upon. Please put your hand down. You have spoken. Our Paul Martin has been recognized. He has the floor. He's the only person I wish to hear, and then I will call upon Baruti. Please do not speak unless called upon.
I think that it really is obscene to be constantly going after the people who make WBAI function. We need paid staff. After certain people, some of whom are in this room, got the national board to pass an inflated budget 3 years ago, we had layoffs of people. We lost people to BAI, and a number of people have had their hours cut. So, although we only lost some people entirely, we have lost a lot of paid staff in part. And to say that we're now going to cut the skeleton crew, it seems insane, and it's going to wreck the radio station. And meantime, we have had management not getting cut at all. And I have to ask myself, why is it that BAI is faltering? Why is it that WBAI can't raise enough money to support itself anymore? And I look around, and it's not the paid staff. They're not causing the problem. It's management. And in any place where you have, an enterprise like this, you look to the leadership. You look to who's at the top for the reason why things are failing. I mean, if the ship is running aground, you don't look to the guys who are on the oars, the galley guys pulling the oars and moving it. You look to the guy who's saying, steer us over there towards those rocks. That's what you do. So I think that we must cut management salary, if anything. Otherwise, what the hell's the motivation for management? If management gets to say, well, if we screw up entirely or enact a plan that's going to, wreck the radio station and cause it to be sold, as some people want, nothing, no skin off our nose. Other people lose their jobs. Other people have their salary cut in half or worse. Nothing for me. I get the same paycheck. Plus, I get a a bonus. Ooh. And I'll point out again that yes, it is true that the faction currently in charge did in fact vote for staff pay cuts and then voted to exempt management from any pay cuts. So I am in favor of the members' motion to make management the ones who pay for the management screw-ups.
I do think that there are changes that are needed at the station. I do think that we need to take a critical look at how we operate on every level. And that's something that needs to be done with the people most affected, that will be the staff paid and unpaid. And I believe that there is actually a constructive and reasonable motion that will lead us in that direction. So I would urge, in the interest of time, people to vote against what I do not consider to be with all due respect. I think the intent could not be sincere, I'm not speaking to the intent, but I think it's essentially a frivolous motion, and I would ask people to vote it down and move on. Thank you.
Alex? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I said I would call on Baruti, who is the treasurer, and who can perhaps just shed some light here. So, Baruti, you, and then Alex. Alex, could you please hand him the, let him have the, right, thank you. Thank you for reminding me, Baruti.
I just wanted to correct the numbers that were quoted. A 6-month layoff of the 2 management people would in no way get anywhere close to $200,000. At best, you're probably talking about $80,000 maybe. The second correction that I want to indicate was that there were a couple of proposals that related to salary adjustments that were put forth by management, not by the board. The budget belongs to management. It's up to the board to vote it up or down. So that's a misrepresentation to say that it belongs to the board prepared the budget. Other than
Point of order, Madam Chair. The treasurer was called upon to give something about numbers. Now he's debating.
No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. The treasurer is pointing out that the budget comes from management, not the board.
Right.
That's a fact. That's a good
Point of information, Madam Chair. And who voted for that crap? And who proposed the motion the treasurer to be exempted?
Please come to order. The treasurer has noted.
I say the treasurer out of order.
Please come to order.
You're out of order.
One of the suggestions was a 5% across the board reduction, and there was a recommendation that anyone who hadn't received a raise in the last 3 years would be exempt from the 5% item. Now, since the IGM wouldn't fall into that category, they would be subject to the 5% reduction. So to say that management was excluded is a misrepresentation, whether it was 2 years or not, is a misrepresentation of the facts.
Okay. Alex.
Point of personal privilege, Madam Chair.
Yes?
As the person who made the motion that management be included in that, which I remember the chair making, certain that we got the wording right, that management be included in that, the amendment that was to include management, no matter what, in that.
That's correct. It was voted down. And then,
yes. However, the motion was that management be included, and people voted it down. The majority voted it down.
That's correct.
Okay. So you and I disagree with the treasurer.
Well,
we would just like
I'm sorry, please. There's a time for public comment, but we don't want to come to it yet.
But our limousine is waiting outside, and we just have to tell you that we're here from Clear Channel to save your station. We're going to buy it from you, give you all millions of dollars each one of you. Oh, no, you have to be for sale. And then we can turn it into Christian radio. That's right.
There's no profit in peace, y'all.
That's right. There's no profit in peace. And we're so happy that you're struggling so badly and fighting amongst yourselves, because it's very important to the corporate victory over your station.
Okay, Alan.
Well, I guess I have the unenviable task of following that.
All right, please, everybody come to order, please. Folks, wait to be recognized, and I mean you out there.
Okay, I want to urge support for this motion. I think you should really ask yourself if you really want to pass a budget that inscribes budget cuts and layoffs for staff at a time when the workers in this country are finally moving. I mean, we are now the first day of the first national auto strike in 37 years. This is a very significant event in the history of this country. And I would hate to see the Pacifica Foundation branded as something like General Motors. I think we should be on the side of the workers and not on the side of General Motors in this situation.
Well, WBAI doesn't have to donate your car.
And furthermore, I think the motion makes sense in another way, because it is management that is basically responsible for the fiscal crisis. Admittedly, the Pacifica National Board bears some responsibility, but unfortunately, we can't touch their money. But we can really serve a lesson for workers throughout this country. This is the way to handle a fiscal crisis when the chips are down. Take it out on the backs of management, not on the backs of workers.
There's no further discussion. I think we have a lot of, I just want to point out, we have 20 minutes left for the entire budget.
Can we move along? I just want to point out that, we have to be real. What I heard is a lot of rhetoric. I'm not sure which means what he said, but a lot is hot air. Many of the budget proposals that were made earlier would have resulted in people losing their jobs earlier. I'm hearing about cuts. I don't hear about any adaptation as to how those cuts will be absorbed, except for one short cut in the station management, who actually had a system of people who actually vote and do not obey the traditional structure. Actually, we see head of departments being members of the union. One of the head of the news department is a shop steward. So clearly, I'm not talking about traditional. Actually, I think one of the major problems we have in the station is people disparaging the station, attacking what the station stands for, either literally or figuratively, telling people not to contribute, not to walk away from this. And that is clearly part of the problem. So what I'm interested in is making cuts that are sustainable, that are sensible, and take into account really how we run the station, not this kind of shoot from the hip proposal.
Okay. All right, please. All right, Marion, and then I think we're going to come. We have very, very limited time, so we want to, get to our discussion. All right, yes, Marion. Yes, Marion. All right, then Steve. Please, with
I think it's fascinating that all of a sudden, the opposition here is interested in the workers in the state. I really think it's fascinating. And that I think that the rest of the state foundation is a worker. And that what you're trying to do is divide the station along workers and management. And I think everybody at the station are working. Works their tail off. So I don't think, Mitch, that you should do that. You have a habit of doing this.
Wait, please
and
don't.
all of the organizations that work with you do this.
Excuse me, please don't get personal. Okay, Steve, we need to move along now. We're fast running out of time.
I just want to add one comment about the effectiveness of this proposal. Some may have some doubts about the ability of the station to function without a program director and without a general manager per se. But I wish to call to the attention of everyone here, and some of you know it quite well, that our general manager comes to the station quite infrequently and not for many hours a day. And if you talk to members of the staff, especially the directors of the various departments, you'll find out
that we will not be losing much. Second of all, the program director works very hard, admittedly, but mostly on the microphone. As far as his job as program director is concerned, my understanding that most of his work has been done by others for many years, and that losing both of them would not impair the function of the station in the least and might boost its efficiency tremendously. As far as Baruti's estimate of how much money would be saved, the approximate salaries of those two together is about $150,000. There's about 25% that the station also pays in related benefits and other payment packages. The total would come to about $200,000 a year, which would go back into the station. That's my comment.
Okay, Patty wanted to speak, and then Bob, and then I hope everybody will hear this. Thank you. Well, that actually was my comment too. It's like, how many people actually come to work and do their jobs in management? And also, I would like to know, there's been no evaluations of even not one staff person at the station. So which is management's job, I believe, to evaluate its workers, make sure everyone's doing everything. So I just don't see why the listeners have to suffer some more. These budgets that are big enough not to lose anybody means that you got to squeeze the people that are the unpaid staff, and you have to squeeze the listeners to listening to begging for one of every 4 days. This is outrageous, and it's disrespectful to the listeners that pay the bills. And any kind of cut, not this joke here that, saying we'll raise more money this year, it's ridiculous. It's, no wonder this makes me sick, this place. Okay, Bob, and then
All right, well, first of all, I think it's really outrageous that there be any reference made to the alleged conduct of any particular manager as a basis to abolish their job for 6 months. That's not the way either a staff or a manager should ever be dealt with in terms of layoffs. Layoffs should happen or can only happen if there's some economic necessity, not allegations that are discussed in a public meeting of a board that somebody's not coming in enough or doing their job well enough, and therefore the station can do fine without this. So that's number one. Number two is that, as everyone knows, the interim general manager is interim, and his term expires in November, and there's a search committee that's actively looking for a permanent person. So again, the idea that based on alleged hours that he works or doesn't work, and his performance or lack of performance, that therefore the job should be abolished, is absurd. And if anything, I think a case could be made that what's important is to have a permanent general manager who will bring a very kind of vigorous and energetic, enthusiastic, total new approach to fundraising so that we can move forward and get past some of these problems, which, I think may be one of the issues here. And finally, the idea that these two managers, and again, I'm not talking about the individuals, I'm talking about the position of program director and general manager, just sit around all day and make decisions that could just be delegated to a council of staff members is ridiculous. I mean, I've worked around the station enough to know that they do all kinds of work, just like other staff do, that is indispensable and cannot just be abolished with the stroke of a pen, and that those workers then would be saddled with all of that extra work of writing grants and of supervising budgets and planning program schedules and all the other things that, that they have their own jobs to do. So this is just a completely unrealistic and not viable plan that really amounts to a posturing.
Point of order. Members of the meeting themselves.
yes, I'm sorry, that's not a point of order. Nia and then Jamie. Jamie, please finish.
I'll be quick, I didn't say very much. I'm listening to all of this and I very seldom speak, but Bob said a couple of things that I was going to say, so I will not repeat them. But a member said that there are no evaluations done. And the funny thing is, unless I'm mishearing, I know I can't see, but I can hear. The very people who, there are no evaluations, but they're the ones that we're putting forth to leave the station. Either I'm confused or something. But one of the two people that the job should be discontinued for, one of those two has been evaluated.
No, it's a different set of evaluations. They're talking about management evaluations of staff. That's a different set of evaluations.
That is what I'm talking about.
Management evaluations of staff. I'm sorry, I thought it was our evaluation of management.
Madam
Excuse me.
Chair,
Forgive me.
point of order. Don't interrupt, please.
Your point is well taken.
Okay, so if I will respectfully continue, excuse me, I'd like to continue. So I'm hearing that the staff is not being evaluated. But I guess those department heads, the last time I checked, they were staff, so they have not been evaluated. What makes them qualified to do that? But one of the two people that folks are advocating to lay off for 6 months to starve to death, basically, one of them has been evaluated, and the evaluation turned out that the person should remain. So this is just frivolous, it's in my mind, just nonsensical, and I think we should go on with the business at hand. All right.
Jamie. Jamie has the floor. Jamie has the floor. Jamie has the floor. Please come to order. Please come to order. Jamie has the floor. Jamie has the floor. Jamie has the floor. We have exactly, just so folks know, because everybody seems to want to speak, we have exactly 10 and a half minutes left. Because I had a timer. All right, Jamie has the floor.
Okay, well, don't I have to yield to a point of order?
Do you have a point of order, Alex?
I have a point of order. I would urge that,
I would urge that the last speaker be censured because she has just announced something publicly that was supposed to be private. Namely, the results of an evaluation.
All right.
I'm not,
I would like to get back to the motion that I brought, which is probably not quite as controversial in the same way. Just to make it clear what I'm proposing that this board do, that we adopt a fiscal year.
Wait, point of order, yes. Yeah, I think we have to vote on that last amendment first, and then we can come back to your amendment, Jamie. We have to vote on that last amendment first, and then we can come back to your amendment.
Okay.
And if it's okay with you, we'll bring it to a vote now, and then we can address Jamie, and we can spend some time on Jamie's amendment. Okay, so all those in favor of...
Roll call, please.
Okay, without objection. All those in favor of Mitchell Cohen's motion?
Roll call.
Secretary will please call the roll.
Oh, you want to do that? I don't like to do this kind of thing.
Secretary, please mumble the letter.
Okay, use the mic, please.
I'm not going to vote yet, sir. And that's Mitchell's amendment on 925.
Yes, just,
Yeah. To deal with emergency financial situations today. Okay, let's start. Steinberg?
yes?
Well, before we start speaking, I'll address the order from the top. No, invariably, just take it from the top, if you please. Let's just do it. Whatever, take it from the top, it's no big deal.
Di immediato. No. Borgstein? No. No.
Well, this isn't.
Brooks? No. Brown?
Is that Stephen Brown? I vote
Steve
yes.
Brown on my sheet.
Yes, I vote yes. I just want to make sure you have the right one.
But it's Steve Brown on my sheet.
Right, it's the same one.
Clyde, have you rolled, please? Clyde?
No.
No. Cohen?
Yes to not cutting staff salaries.
Yes. Gaddis?
Lisa Davis.
Lisa Davis?
No way, get real, I would have voted.
Excuse me, please, we're just voting,
Say cut salary. Cut salary, yes, set that.
Next.
Benjamin, you need to, Benjamin. Yes. Griffin. No. Heffley. Yes. Cards. No. Letters. No. Lucas.
No.
No. Martin.
Yes, to protect the workers.
Yes. Reiner. No.
All right, please, allow the secretary to call the roll, answer and speak, not otherwise, please.
Well, point of order, out of order.
Rose.
Yes.
Yes. Robert. No. No. Ross.
Yes.
Yes. Silva. No. No. Steinberg.
Yes to the embattled staff of WBAI.
Just voting.
Just answer the question.
Please, one at a time.
Point of order, the
All
chair
right.
is not allowed to decide on the manner in which a member can answer a roll call.
We don't answer a roll call vote by making an argument on the motion. That would be Robert's Rules of Order, and I'm sure that our Paul Marks can point that out to you.
Madam Chair, I rise to a point of personal privilege here. I mean, why, the chair should not be naming people in that manner.
You're right.
Thank you.
Your point is well taken.
8, 9, 10, 11, no. All right, the final tally is 8 yeas and 11 nays.
Yes, 3.
I have an amendment. I was recommending.
We need to finish with Jamie's amendment first.
No, we're allowed to have 2 amendments on the floor at any given.
Anytime? Okay, all right.
Point of order. I said you can't answer her. Why don't you?
Excuse me, that's not a point of order. That's not a point of order. Please come to order. Please come to order. If you do not have the floor, please come to order. Ms. Heffley, please come to order.
December 1st, 2007, during which time the National Office will assist the LC in obtaining long requested financial information, and the LC will work with management and staff with the union to review budget assumptions and develop proposals for increased revenues and reduced expenses. Based on this information and any such proposals, the LC will revisit the budget by January 15, 2008. If general salary cuts are implemented, they shall apply equally to all station employees, and the salary for the permanent general manager position shall be limited to the advertised rate of $65,000 annually until salary of staff cuts implemented during this fiscal year are reversed.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Sri, would you like to motivate your motions?
I would like
Your amendment.
I would in fact like to do so, and I would also ask for a point of personal privilege before I do that, very briefly.
Yes, all right. Point of personal privilege.
Please,
Excuse me, please come to order.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I understand that Ms. Henry has not been present at meetings.
Please don't.
Excuse me, no, and that might explain her ignorance of the fact that the amendments that were discussed at previous meetings were in fact my amendments. These amendments, which I asked Bob to type because I don't have a printer.
Right.
And my computer, in fact, is asking rather from me. And he was kind enough to type them and copy them for me. And maybe that's a matter of class. I don't know. I don't own, a working computer or a printer. And I'm glad that someone who did offer to help.
You have 2.5 minutes to motivate. We have 2.5 minutes left in this.
I got that. But the very assumption, that a woman can only present ideas if they come through a particular man on the boards is so insulting that I would ask all the feminists in the room to just pay attention to the source of that comment. Okay.
All right.
With regard to the motion.
Please speak to the motion. You have 2 minutes.
With regard to the motion.
Sri has the floor.
I am extremely unhappy that we're looking at a budget, or that we're
You are
the idea of staff cuts to begin with. But I do think that where.
Lisa denied that there
Please
were any.
speak only
She
when.
said there aren't any.
Serene has the floor.
What are you talking about?
Serene has the floor. Serene has the floor. Please come to order.
There says there are no steps up to line.
Please come to order. Mr. Cohen?
The budget as first presented to us by management contained, I don't remember how many FTEs in terms of cuts, proposal cuts. And at the very beginning, and that remains consistent, we insisted that before there was any discussion of cuts, that management needed to at least go back and talk to the people who would be affected, and to ask AFTRA to take a position on it. Management came back to us, had not even had a preliminary discussion. We told them that therefore we would not have a discussion. The motions, the amendments that have been put forth, and they continue. We do not determine whether or not there's budget cuts. We do not determine what those cuts are. But we are determined to protect the interests of people who may in fact be affected by a budget that is not a popular budget. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not happy with the budget. But I think saying this is how we have to reverse any cuts, this is how we make people whole is important. And that is what we have done in, I think consistently since this budget has been discussed for the past, how many months now, 2 months. And I would ask people to support these amendments. Because I think that while we, again, in the interest of time, I won't repeat it, but I will say that, that if you don't make a plan to put the money back into the staff pocket, it won't get there.
Okay. All right. We have come to the end of our time for this agenda item. We are at the end of our time for it. So therefore, we're going to just...
Madam Chair, I move to extend by half an hour.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to extend by half an hour. All those in favor? Wait, I'm sorry. Yes?
I move to amend, make it 10 minutes.
All right, we have a half hour and we have 10 minutes. I'll take the longer number first. All those,
Cannot do that.
no, you can do a multiple choice if you've got something like times or amounts.
It's a separate amendment.
No. Well, I'm saying I will take these in the order in which they were brought. I mean, I'm going to take them in descending order of time. Okay, so that if people don't accept the half hour, then they'll look at 10 minutes.
Overturn the chair.
Okay, all those in favor?
Overturn the chair's ruling.
What ruling?
You just decided to take an amendment that doesn't have to belong first.
No.
The second
The
amendment
last
must be
offer is
considered
the
first.
first voted on.
Hang on. It's right here in multiple choice, the chair can arrange to
This is
take
not
it
a
in any
multiple
order.
choice.
It is a multiple
It's a
choice.
separate motion.
All right, we'll take the 10 minutes first then. I'd rather than have to look it up in Roberts, which I will do before the next meeting. Yes,
Madam Chair, to make it a multiple choice, I'll also propose, I will propose 20 minutes. And if somebody else will do 15 minutes,
Right.
we'll just vote out the whole damn thing and choose that.
all right, and we'll start with, I would suggest that and the reason why I suggest that we start with the higher number is that if there's a choice of numbers, there's a point where you know you're not going to get any higher than something, but if we start with 10 minutes and that passes, you don't get any higher than that. And I call myself doing people a favor and I get flat.
Madam
Okay,
Chair,
let's start with 30 minutes.
Madam Chair, I would point out that despite the way we did it once before, the first thing that gets a majority wins.
That's right. The first thing that gets a majority wins. So we now have a half hour, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and 10 minutes. Is that correct?
Who proposed 15 minutes?
He did. I don't think they were seconded. Second to 20 and the 15. Okay. All those in favor of a half hour extension, please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All opposed?
I'm here too.
I saw you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's carried. All in favor of a 20-minute extension, please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed? Did you raise your hand, Patty? I'm sorry.
For which?
20 minutes.
Oh, I've got 20 minutes.
All right, 8. All right. All opposed?
20 minutes.
All opposed? I want, please, all opposed, have your hands up. Okay, I can't see your hand there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That does not carry. All in favor of 15 minutes, please raise your hand. 15 minutes. Going once. 1, 2. You don't vote in lockstep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Did I count you? Wait. I Again, everybody, I'm sorry, Patty, how are we up here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all opposed. 1, 2, 3, that carries. 15 minutes, I'm going to set the timer. Serene had just motivated her motion. Hang on. Who wants a couple of minutes? What's that? I mean, you know, at the end? Promotion at the end?
Well, once you finish this.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Yes. All right. So Serene spoke to her motion, and when last heard from Serene and spoken to her motion, I'll take Mitch, and then Ray.
In response to this current motion on the floor, it's the Justice and Unity Caucus saying to the staff, get your cutthroat off my knife. In Diana's previous words. It's saying that we're...
Please. Mitch has the floor.
It will, on one hand, people said that earlier that they were not cutting the staff, and now in this motion it turns out that they are indeed cutting the staff salaries, and now they're trying to recoup it so that as we go down the road, the staff of the first ones recompensated, perhaps if the money comes in, that some people expected to come in, which don't think it's going to come that way. So all this is doing is trying to provide, first they're saying, let's cut the staff by 5%, and then they're saying, but let's try to do it down the road to give it back again later, maybe if we can. So to deny that there's the cutting the staff instead of management, or instead of finding other ways, such as cutting by 50% the budget line for premiums, which is another motion that I had made last week, but somehow can't get in on the floor here for some reason. Now it's a serious problem that we're facing here with JUC, trying to pretend that they're not cutting the staff when they are, and then trying to be nice behind the
You're
scenes.
speaking to people's motivations, but in any case, it is now 8:46 p.m. We're mandated to have listener comment at this moment. So when we get 15 minutes of listener comment at 8:46 p.m. Public comment, I'm sorry, public comment. And we will pick this up, we'll have 13 minutes left. You'll have 1 minute.
Right.
You'll have 1 minute after, all right. I thought you were done. You weren't done. Okay, finish your point, you have 1 minute.
The other part of the point is that in addition to salaries that we're talking about and benefits for management that I had put forth in my motion, it's also that some people in management received Christmas or holiday bonuses, substantial ones, last year when the station was in trouble and when Pacifica was in trouble, yet thousands of dollars were dished out for holiday bonuses to some of the management personnel, which I'll go unnamed here. And that's wrong. That's wrong. And that's part of the whole thing that we're talking about here.
Okay, when we come back, we'll have 12 minutes to discuss the budget. Time for listener comment. I'm sorry, public comment. Yes.
My understanding is the board is supposed to help in fundraising. What the hell have any of you done?
Steve raised thousands of dollars for the board. What do you mean?
Excuse me, during public comment.
Okay, what else have you done? What else has anybody else done?
Board members are not to respond. Mr. Cohen, we have been over this ground before. During public comment, board members are not to respond. You are to allow the members of the public to speak uninterrupted.
To put the blame on one individual, I don't think that's fair at all by you characters. You're supposed to be doing your job too. You're not doing it. Get through it.
Okay, anyone else? Public comment, anyone else? Okay, we're going to move on then.
Why don't you say something?
We have 12 minutes left to discuss the budget. Ray, that's right, Ray was next.
I think this proposal is a sensible one and it because circumstances.
what I'd like to hear from the initiator of the motion, to clarify the point that one of the problems we have is in approving the budget, is that there are many requests that were made by the LSD from management and have not been provided to us. Can you clarify that?
There are requests, outstanding requests for information from the finance committee that will be, on that, in November.
Please, excuse me, could people please come to order? It's very difficult to hear the one person speaking if there are many conversations going on. So will people please refrain from having side conversations? Thank you.
There are outstanding requests for information. They were made in November '05. In fact, some of them were made during the budget approval process, I think, in August '05. Still outstanding more than 2 years later. There are many of the same issues plague us now, where the numbers simply have not been properly calculated. And as we found out in this process, there are a number of times we have to send back, and each time they come back revised, and something else is still missing. But those requests were made in connection with IBM. They were made, many of them were repeated, and some new ones were added, and they were made last year when she was back to doing business manager, and yet they remain outstanding. It becomes very difficult to gauge the reliability of numbers that were given, and every time you ask a question, the answer is, I don't know, I have to check. And folks who attend finance committee meetings regularly share, understand, listener members, as well as staff members share the frustration of really getting the sense that, well, I won't characterize it, but we need to get information.
Okay.
And that's why that is included in this budget. That motion, by the way, was unanimously passed by the finance committee.
Okay. I recognize Steve Brown. Steve Brown? She's talking about her proposed amendment to the budget motion, this piece of paper that you have. Steve Brown has the floor.
I just want to share some information with the board. There's been a lot of discussion about cutting 5% from staff salaries. Staff salaries and expenses probably come to about $1.1 million a year. If you deduct the 25%, which are benefits and expenses which don't get cut, you're talking about cutting 5% from approximately $800,000 of nominal salary. That's about $35,000. It does absolutely nothing to address BAI's financial problems. You're arguing about something that's totally irrelevant. It's nonsense. So you're wasting time and you're fooling yourselves. You're rearranging deck chairs in the Titanic. $35 doesn't help us. $35,000 is worth it.
Yes.
Can I ask the treasurer?
Where's the treasurer? Where's the treasurer?
Right here.
We have a question for you.
Did you hear the last comment? Because I wanted to ask you about the accuracy of that. 5%? Yeah. That it's almost 35,000? Yeah. What
is the correct statement?
If the salary is 1.1,
That's
how
not,
does that be 35,000?
that's not so. Believe me, that line is for salaries and expenses. When you cut the salary, if somebody's making $50,000 a year, his benefits add another 25% of that. If you're going to cut his salary by 5%, the 5% cut is over $50,000, not only $50,000 plus benefits.
What's the name?
The budget that we were giving out, the breakdown here, is 1.1 million just salaries, then their taxes, pension.
Right, the tax, and only the benefits are separate. So it's 1.1 million.
And it only makes it slightly larger. 5% of 1.1 million is slightly over $50,000. It's nothing. We do much better by cutting the salaries of the GM and the PD, which is poor.
Okay, all right. One person at a time, please. Our Paul Martin, one person at a time. Please people speak only when called upon, please. Wait, yes. 7 minutes and, about 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to move to divide this.
Okay.
And I have a question for the chair, part 4, if general salary cuts are implemented, they shall apply equally to all station employees. Does this mean management will be included, period? So the chair, it's our motion now, the chair has the rule on this. Well, fine, ask her.
I'm asking her.
Madam Chair, my understanding is that the word all means all.
Okay. Yes.
So
That's my
this would
opinion.
include management?
Yes.
Just checking, I mean, sometimes words around,
Okay.
English isn't there. Some of this seems okay. Some of this, I think, is too little too late. It's not as if we're going to, do great things with whatever the hell happens with this budget, which, by the way, this whole budget thing, this is based on a lot of fantasy and hope, and it looks like a disaster to me. But we've been doing this for some years, so it's not as if suddenly something is going wrong. We have not set our foot upon the slippery slope. We are way down the slippery slope, gathering momentum and heading for an abyss. I think that unfortunately, could the chair please call this
Please,
person
people come to order, please don't make comments. He has the floor.
So I think that this is very much too little too late, and I am very concerned that we will again run into what happened 3 years ago, which is where people bittered about and nothing was done about budget problems. People were in denial about it, and then suddenly we had a much bigger problem, because as always, if you have a budget of a certain amount of money, management is going to spend that amount of money at that rate. And if after a while you realize you're going to make only a fraction of what you were supposed to make, you've already been spending at an accelerated rate, so it makes it worse. While I can agree somewhat with the idea in 3, I think it's too late, and I think it will in fact cause a bigger problem by having us fool around and not do what needs to be done. And we'll end up with a bigger deficit because we will have waited before we did whatever we're going to do with cutting the budget. So I would say I would be in favor of number 4 and number 5. Number 3 I would have to vote against, because I think while it looks good, it is in fact going to have the opposite effect. So I'm moving to divide this, the amendment.
Point of information. Yes.
Second.
How much money, if it's 5%, general salary cuts 5%, including management and staff, how much money would that be? Including the benefits or related expenses, or whatever you call benefits. Related expenses, 71,250. 71,250, and it doesn't include the related expenses? No.
Point of information.
Yes.
Ray, can you explain how you got that?
Perugi, do you have that number?
Which number?
Let's ask Perugi, he's the treasurer.
That's what everybody does.
We're rapidly running out of time, so we... Can we get that number? Can we just get that number? Not, you can just wait. For management and listeners
Well, if
together,
there's no objection, while he's doing that, we can actually bring 4 and 5 to a vote if there's no objection to dividing. There's no objection? Okay, so...
Bring it to a vote if we don't have the number. I'm asking for a number for number 4.
It's not related to the number, it's just saying if general salary cuts are implemented, they shall apply equally to all station employees, meaning everybody. Okay, so number 3 was the difficulty there. Okay? All
I'm
right.
interested in knowing if it's worth it.
I'm not sure, I don't see the...
It's all right, I withdraw. I do want to know, but I...
All right, okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so all those in favor of 4 and 5 of Serene's proposed amendment, yeah. We're going to bring that to a vote while he's looking through the information.
Well, Madam Chair, a motion to divide means that when we come to voting on this thing, we can do it in parts. We can't vote on the second part. You have to vote on this whole thing, but you vote on them separately.
Exactly, that's what I'm asking people to start voting on it separately.
You start with
All right,
3.
4 separately, all right, 4 separately, then 5 separately, let's move right along. All those in favor of number 4, please raise your hand. We're deferring number 3 while he gets some numbers, because Andrew Fishman asked for them. I don't see why not.
You have to vote because we are dividing the question.
Okay. Well,
you have to do it.
Okay.
You have to do the question all at once. You can't do part of the question, mess around.
I'm sorry. This is an amendment. Did you vote to divide these amendments?
Yes.
We can't vote on them all at once then. If
No, no,
there's
no.
no objection to dividing them, we
No,
can't vote on
Madam
them all at
Chair,
once.
Madam Chair, the point being that this set gets voted on. You can't break them out. You can't.
To take
you have
them order, all right,
you have-
okay, fine. Well, okay, we have 2 minutes left.
Point of information.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask Ray, isn't it true that 5% of $1,096,000 is $50,000? $54,000.
Oh, okay. It goes in the taxes as well? Yes.
5% of 1.164 million.
You know what I'm saying? In other words, the number you see is net of the 5%.
So you start with 1.164 million.
Okay, what Paruti handed out in the cash flow, excuse me, if we assume 5% salary reductions from November, excuse me, this is on the handout that Paruti gave us earlier. And if people will please come to order, I will read it. The second page of the cash flow, October through September. If we assume 5% salary reductions from November to September, savings would be $73K. And I'm assuming that that was all worked out in terms of where taxes and everything else. Lower the taxes would be lower. I'm asking Paruti because he generated the number. Oh, who did? Who did?
Those numbers are wrong.
Who generated them? Oh, these are from Indra. This is from Indra. Okay, these are Indra's calculations.
Those numbers are wrong.
Okay. All right, please come to order. Ms. Heffley, please come to order. Can we come to, all right. All right, we're now at the end of the time. We're now at the end of our time. We're now at the end of our time. Please come to order. Please come. I have asked her repeatedly to come to order. I would ask everyone else not to engage. All right. Now, the proposed amendments to the budget motion, we're going to take these in order. All those in favor of number 3, please raise. Yes. You want a roll call vote? Without objection, the secretary please call the roll. Number 3.
Number 3, part, no. The first part is number 3, proposed amendments to the budget motion. Made by Sabrina.
Yes.
Betty Arco? Yes. Gordon Dick? Yes. 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 Brown?
Brown.
Steve.
Your vote. No.
Clay? Cohen? Davis, Lisa Davis.
Yes.
Fishman? Pass. Griffin? Heffley? No. LaFara?
Yes.
Lederer?
Yes.
Lucas?
Yes.
Martin?
No.
Reimers?
Not here.
Rhodes?
No.
Roberts? Yes. Ross? Silva? Yes. Sternberg?
No.
I'm going back to the passes, Cohen?
No, there should be no constable staff to begin with.
Please don't make arguments on.
Fishman? No.
Okay, that passes. On the next, number 4, if general salary cuts are implemented, they shall apply equally to all station employees.
Point of information?
Yes?
The station employees mean management?
We already covered that ground, and the answer was
I know we did that, but I want to make
The
sure.
answer was yes. All those in favor, please raise your hands. You want a roll call on every single thing? If there's no objection.
Okay. Bediako? Bernstein?
Yes.
Brooks? Brown?
Yes.
Clay? Tom?
No, I think management should have a higher.
Excuse me, we're just voting, please do not.
Mario, please.
Fishman? Oh, yes. Griffin? Yes. Heffley? Abstain. LaFars?
Yes.
Letter?
Yes.
Lucas?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Abstain.
Roberts? Yes. Frost?
No.
Silva? Yes. Steinberg?
No discussion.
Yeah, she voted. Okay, extensions don't count. Okay. On number 5, the salary for the permanent general manager position shall be limited to the advertised rate of $65,000 annually until salary and staff cuts implemented during this fiscal year are reversed.
Bediako?
Yes.
Bornstein?
Yes.
Brooks? Brown?
Yeah.
Clay?
You should say out loud.
I should say I thought. Oh, I forgot now.
Kim?
Brooks, yes. Clay? Clay's done. Cohen?
No, it should be much lower, and there shouldn't be any.
I'm sorry, we're not arguing now, we're just voting.
Yes.
Fishman? Pass. Griffin? Heffley? Abstain. LaFars?
Yes.
Letter?
Yes.
Lucas?
Yes.
Martin?
Yeah.
Rhodes?
Mrs. Rhodes?
Yeah.
Abstain.
Robert? Yes. Ross? Silva? Yes. Steinberg?
No.
Fishman? No.
Number 9.
Vote yes. Three days.
Okay. Okay, that passes. All right, the next amendment we need to vote on is Jamie's amendment, which is, Jamie, would you just please read it quickly?
Well, I have to say, I thought there would be more time to talk about this. You had called on me once, and I was about to speak, and then I was told I couldn't talk about it. And then
Well, we had moved, yeah, we had moved
then
on
when
to
we dealt with
another.
Mitchell's motion, I was ready to talk about it, and then we went on to another amendment. So we really,
You did motivate it. Can we just move on? Just please read it. I think people understand what you were, what you said. We're out of time.
all right, I move that we base the listener support line in the current budget on levels that have been achieved in the past, so that based on a pledge total of 2.851 million, not 2.997 million, which is what's in the current budget, and based on a fulfillment rate of 80%, not 83.1%. We should do our budgeting based on realistic assumptions. We should not guess. You know, I feel that if we're going to put in numbers that we've never made in the past, someone needs to explain to us what's going to happen to make fulfillment rate by 3 points. What's going to happen to make pledge totals go up by $150,000?
We're at time. Okay.
Where's that money going to come from?
Okay. All those in favor. All those in favor.
Where's the money coming from?
All those
You're inventing it.
All those.
You're inventing it.
Andrea Fishman is the only person who had her hand up and will be recognized, but we're coming to a vote on this. He did.
To ask me to push and hurry along is kind of it's unfair. These questions are important. You should recognize the importance of these questions and not the low
Okay, but we're out of time on this. We have to vote. We're out of time. People spend a great deal of time discussing other things, raising points of order.
I move to extend by 5 minutes.
We need to find this answer.
I move to extend by 5 minutes.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to extend by 5 minutes. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, that carries. 5. Oh, it's 2/3. I'm sorry, 2/3 to extend.
Point of information.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. You've asked the question. We're coming to a vote.
Point of information.
We're coming to a vote.
Why don't you ask the question? Where's the money?
Please come to order. This I've asked you repeatedly to come to order.
Because that means nothing when there's no money.
Please come to
Where's
order.
the money?
We're coming to a vote right now. All those in
Point
favor?
of information.
Point of information. Point of order. Come to order. Please come to order. This is point of order for point of information. Please, Ms. Hefley, please come to order. Point of order takes place. Mrs. Brown, please quickly.
Point of order. I'd like to explain.
Point of information.
For two minutes right now, so you really can explain why the quarter rate estimates are higher and why the pledge totals are higher than this year.
All right, I'm going to ask for a vote on 2-minute extension for Baruti to give his view on it. Is there an objection to a 2-minute extension? All right, Baruti.
The general IGM informed us and the CEO indicated that, CFO, indicated that Phil Acegato, who has come to help the station in the past in improving fulfillment rate, will be making visits to the station in order to improve fulfillment rates, to increase fulfillment rates just as he's done in the past.
Yes. There's time for questions. If people will come to order, there's time for a question. If you will allow your comrades to speak, they can speak.
My question is there any reason to believe that Phil Acevedo's coming to the station will increase the fulfillment rate? We know he's done this in the past, and as far as I know, there was no increase in the fulfillment rate in his last venture.
Okay. All right.
I have a point of information.
Yes.
Okay, well, that takes care of why you made the assumption about the improved fulfillment rate. What about the assumption about the improved pledge rate? Will we be spending more time on air, or is there plans to revise the fund drive?
No, wait. Baruti is, let him answer the question, please.
Yeah, no, I will Rudy answered about why.
I know, I understand that, let him answer, he has 2 minutes.
Well, he indicated that, improving fulfillment in early drives will
They link improved fulfillment. In other words, happier, people that pledge to the station that are happier because they're getting their, the premiums that they've gotten in the past by fulfilling old pledges, they are more likely to pledge in the future and therefore will increase their support of the station. But if they haven't gotten old pledges, they're not going to make new pledges because they're mad at the station because we haven't fulfilled the old pledge. So it's all kind of tied in together.
Okay, wait, hang on, I have one from this side of the table, and we have 3 seconds. All right, that's it, our 2 minutes are up. We're going to bring this to a vote.
Point of information.
We're going to bring this to a vote.
Point of information.
We're going to bring this.
That is before you called on me earlier.
Right, okay.
My question to, my point.
Wait, no, Serene was before you.
You called on me.
I'm sorry. Yes, you just.
We are in fact being asked to vote on numbers that Mr. Walsh himself said that he assumes. I don't see that that's the direction in which we need to move.
It's not a point of order.
Okay, that's not,
I didn't say it was a point of order, it's a point of information.
it's an argument. Okay, I understand. I think we really need to bring this to a vote.
My understanding, and if I misheard him, I would like it corrected. My understanding is that he sort of assumes these numbers, he sort of.
Well, can you ask him a direct question? What numbers does he have?
Well, he gave numbers, but he said also, if I heard him correctly, that these were his numbers that he just assumed.
I'd be happy to answer.
Okay, let him answer, please.
And the source.
Okay.
Okay, the source for the numbers of the pledge totals for fiscal year '07. The fall number we got from the Mensis reports, which were given out at the Finance Committee. The winter '07 drive number we got from the Mensis report that was given out at the Finance Committee, and the spring drive was also from the Mensis report given out to the Finance Committee. The number for the summer drive, $474,000, is from calling up the business manager and asking her. The numbers for the 2 one-day drives are also from calling up the business manager and asking her. No, the number for the first one-day drive, which I believe was Martin Luther King Day, is from the Mensis report, which is handed out to the Finance Committee. The number for the second one-day drive, which was on September 11th, is also from calling up the business manager and asking her. That is the one number which I'm skeptical whether it's correct, because usually I believe that number comes pre-entering all the information into Mensis, and the numbers change. So it might be 25,000, it might be 22,000, but given the magnitude of the difference, $200,000, a small difference of $2,000 or $3,000 in one pledge drive really doesn't matter.
Okay, we are now we're well past the 2-minute extension. We really need to bring this to a vote. One more point of information.
I'd like to know what happens, when the 350,000 plus additional monies based on these figures, on these elevated percentages that we never had reached before. What happens when they're not met? What does that mean to the station when they're not met?
You can give Lennon the lecture if you want to.
Obviously, we'll have to make further cuts. The goal here is to set reasonable goals, have management and staff and the LSP work together in order to meet these goals. Now, if folks don't work together, it's going to be a problem. People say they don't want to cut staff, but will they put their shoulder to the wheel and make this thing happen?
All right,
Can I just have the numbers I asked for before, for number 4?
we have it, so it's $73,000. That was the number from India, okay? All right, yes, we did that already, Andrea.
No, they say that was not correct.
That's the number from Indra. Okay, we need to vote on Jamie's motion. Without objection. On Jamie's amendment, I'm sorry, Jamie's amendment. This is Jamie's amendment, which is to reduce the listener support numbers. All right, just please call the roll.
Point of information.
We've got to move along here. We're done. We're voting, the vote has already begun. The vote has already
I
begun.
don't know if the vote is done.
The voting has begun. Yes, next.
Beniaco?
Who says
I
that?
didn't hear. No.
Bernstein?
No.
Brooks? No. Brown?
Brown votes, yes.
Collins?
Yes to protecting the staff and no to elevated
Lacy Davis?
figures.
No. Thank you.
Fishman? Yes. Griffin? Epley?
I would have to say yes to the motion that makes sense.
Okay, let's keep moving.
Forrest? Letter?
No.
Lucas?
No.
Martin?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Roberts? Ross? Silva? Steinberg?
Just a realistic budget.
Eight yeses.
$1 million.
Please come to order. Okay, now the next order of business is to vote on the entire, on the entire budget motion as amended. All right, we now have to vote on the entire budget as amended.
Without objection, point of information. I noticed, may I recognize?
Yes?
I noticed that on two votes this evening, member of Forrest voted against distraction. I'm just wondering if it's possible they might be.
That's not, very much out of order. That's entirely out of order.
Well, I
All right.
apologize. Then.
Without objection, please call the secretary, please call the roll. Please call the roll of the budget motion as amended.
Beniaco? Bernstein?
We're voting on the budget as amended. The entire budget.
The entire, the budget is amended.
Yes.
Yes. Brown?
Brown, he didn't need.
Brown.
Collins?
Absolutely not. It's ridiculous.
Stop it.
Lacy Davis?
Oh, come on, Mary.
Fishman, please come to order, everybody. Fishman, please come to order. Fishman. Fishman. Please, everybody come to order. The budget is amended.
No, sorry. Griffin? Yes. Epley?
No.
Forrest? Letter?
There you go, Mary.
Lucas?
Yes.
Martin?
No.
Rose?
No.
Roberts? Pass. Ross? Silva? Yes. Steinberg?
Pass.
Roberts?
We're back to you, Serene.
Double that.
I abstain. And Steinberg?
No to this anti-union budget.
Madam Chair?
Yes. We're not quite, you have to add this up and we'll see how we're done, yes? But yes? Okay, let's have,
Excuse me, point of order, you must go back to the past members and get, and see, and, estimate. We did not do that.
okay, there are nine yeses and 8 noes, that passes. Okay, yes, sure.
I want to bring, I guess, what might be described as an omnibus motion, authorizing all committee chairs to poll the listservs and choose a date for the next meeting of their committees that most likely will get for.
All right, is there any objection to that? That the committee meetings will be set by committee chairs polling the members of the committee? All right, go on, vote. Yes. Yes.
Could we hear, I understand the gist of it, but could we hear exact words on this?
Okay, so I think it's an omnibus motion that with regard to the setting of committee meetings, the chairs of each committee will poll the members of that committee and arrive at a date that the majority of those members can be present and set the date and set the date by that means. The greatest number can attend. Yes.
Can someone tell me who the chair and secretary of these 4 are, so we know, who we want to contact or do we have who's the chair and secretary?
Management evaluation, I'm the chair. I think William is the secretary. Membership outreach and fundraising, who's the chair?
Who's the chair?
I'm the chair. Management evaluation, I'm the chair.
He is the chair, Wayne is secretary.
William is secretary.
Wayne is the secretary.
I'm sorry, Wayne is secretary. Wayne is secretary. Membership outreach and fundraising. That's Cheryl is the chair. Wayne Walcott is the programming committee. Nia, aren't you the chair? She is indeed. And who is the secretary?
We are going to be elected.
Okay. And the waivers committee actually has never actually elected a chair, so but there's only 5 members. We're ad hoc, we'll agree among ourselves.
I'm the chair of finance.
Finance
Maria
is the secretary. Okay. Okay. Can we vote on that since there was an objection?
Is the waivers committee still in operation now that the membership list has been set for the?
We have a few ends of time. We have letters to send to the people who were accepted or not accepted. We have a report to put together.
Thank you.
So there was an objection to doing this without objection, so we have to vote on it. Yes.
I was wondering, you said that you were the chair and William is the secretary.
Yes.
So what we have is 2 staff people being in charge of management evaluation, and the listeners are shut out.
William staff? William's not staff.
Yes, he is. He has a radio show on jazz on the.
No.
But works for the committee.
So the listeners are being
Yes,
shut out.
yeah, no, basically, no, the purpose of what we've got here is that the chairs are going to contact the members of those committees, or who are people who have come to 3 meetings or more, and we will pick a date that the greatest number of those people can come.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
The people who work are the people who work. Maybe vote now?
Yes.
Point of information.
Yes.
Will the decision be like public, like we all have mailing lists? Will this be done in the mailing list so we can all see it? Because part of,
yes,
because part of.
So I think some committees don't actually have mailing lists.
Because, geez.
Yes.
Interrupting.
Right.
That's just, the chair recognized my point of information. You're
Yes.
interrupting. How many people are going to interrupt? And since sometimes people will suggest, as we all know in a meeting, this date, then it moves around, will it be possible for that, or will it be just name a date and everybody names a date and it's shut out? Or will it be dialogue on this list?
There'll have to be dialogue. We're trying to arrange for the greatest number of people to attend.
Okay.
All right, all those in favor? All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that carries.
I move to adjourn. Madam Chair, I move to adjourn at 9:30.
We need to set another meeting.
9:30.
No, we don't.
There's a meeting set already.
That's happening with another mechanism. This is an emergency.
Wait, hang on. It is now, we said, the agenda says adjourn no later than 9:30, it is now 9:28. We need to set another meeting.
Madam Chair, please, at the last meeting, you'll remember there was a large motion where we're going to coordinate with a member for exactly when we're going to hold it.
And that member has actually announced that he would not, that he would not pick a date during the time set forward by the motion. In other words, the motion said no later than November 6th, and he wants to do it subsequent to November 6th. That would leave us meaningless for,
Madam Chair,
a very long time.
there was a set time during which this would be figured out. That time limit is enough. Perhaps people will talk to each other and figure it out.
Then we'll have to
And
set
again, this is an emergency meeting.
We'll wind up having to set a date that will fall within the time we set, unless there's a 2/3 majority that wants to amend a motion that was already passed and said it would be by November 6th.
How far off is the member suggesting?
What date were you suggesting?
You look it up, I sent you an email.
It was something like the 15th or the 12th or the 12th?
I have
December.
No, when we set the date, you had said you would be later in October, and we set the date to November 6th, it seemed to be amenable to you.
December 12th.
I gave you a whole week. You can't find me something that what you want.
I would suggest that the member look for time within that period when he might be here.
Community issues are more, this is more important.
Yes, Serene has the floor. Serene has the floor.
Move to adjourn is now 9:30.
Serene has the floor.
The member clearly
No,
indicated
so much of
when
the
we met
agenda.
last that there was going to be a week or so, I think, I don't know if this is specific about a period, but my recollection is that there was going to be a week in October when he was going to be on the West Coast. Subsequent, we agreed to accommodate the member and allow him to choose a period other than that.
Right.
Subsequent to that, the member has decided that he has to visit 3 or 4 places in the country and will not be available until mid-November.
Point of order, Madam Chair, this is out of order. There's a motion to adjourn on the floor. Deal with that, please.
And therefore,
Point of order, Madam Chair.
No, I'm sorry.
Somebody, what is this?
therefore, the vote.
Madam Chair, what is
All right,
this?
there is a motion to adjourn. We're going to bring that to a vote. All those in favor of adjourning, all those in favor of adjourning, please raise your hand.
It's 9:30, we have to adjourn. Change the agenda, needs a 2/3 vote. It ends at 9:30. If you want to change it, you need a 2/3 vote.
What a personal privilege, Madam
If
Chair.
there was a vote for another meeting,
Date for another meeting.
you need to set a date for it. It would be the better part of wisdom to set a date for another meeting. And I'm not saying it has to include Steve Brown, we have business to do.
When people on this board speak of their family problems, they should not be discussed contemptuously. We all have family problems, we all have emergencies in our lives. They should not be-
People have mental health issues as well.
Yeah, they do.
All right, please come to order. All right.
Madam Chair, I call for the orders of the day.
Madam Chair.
I call for the orders of the day, Madam Chair. Take precedence.
All right, we have passed the time, we have, all right, okay.
Set date for the next meeting. That's right.
And
Please deal with that.
I would simply ask any amendment.
Call for the orders of the day.
All right, hang on. Please, everybody, if we can kind of take a breath. Okay? I think it would be the better part of wisdom to set a meeting for ordinary board business sometime before November 12th. If without objection, we could do that quite quickly. Yes.
Objection. I call, Madam Chair, first, I call for the orders of the day. Second of all, we have set when a meeting's going to happen. We can't just drop an extra meeting in there. We can't do that.
That's true. Well, actually, what the motion said was that a time would be picked before November 6th, so the officers will have to pick a time. That's it. The officers will pick a time.
However, well, I would hope that the officers would, try to accommodate the member if it's just a 2 days difference.
I hope that we
adjourned. All right, this meeting is adjourned.
It's the day of unite.
Orders in the day.